Oh, we know.
We hot, baby.
We're like our boy
Ladies
Mark.
and gentlemen, let's get fired up in the chat. It's showtime, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's time to dial it in. Get fired up. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. Let's get buck nasty tonight. Drop a like. I'm not eating anything, boys. I'm just breathing heavy. I'm fired up. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. I am in the studio with the man, the myth, legend, Stevie Chad. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, it's about that time. We're gonna cut them puppies loose. Woo!
Let's go,
I'm fired up
baby.
to be here, boys and girls. Piss misses are flying. It's the best day of the week. I say it every week because every weekend because it is. It's Wednesday night with the boys, and I honestly couldn't think of anything better to do at 8:35 on Wednesday night.
Let's go.
Who's doing it? You know what I'm saying?
We are us.
That's right,
us,
baby.
The fam, the high top fam.
Oof.
Let's go. Let's. Oh my gosh, they're already getting off up in here.
I usually wear a hoodie, but I'm already sweating, boys. I'm already sweating. We got Fish Reef celebrating 2 months. Let's get the show on the road, boys. Let's go Gators. Let's go Gators is absolutely right. Guys, welcome to the stream. It has been a one hell of a, 72, 96 hours for Florida Gator fans. Got to be honest. It's been a brutal one, but they're all kinds of weather, right? We get dialed in, we buckled on, we rock and roll. So here we are. Today, we're going to go over Florida versus A&M. We've got a little history lesson for you about giving him the business, okay? We got the rumor mills are running around. What's going on? Things kind of going haywire. Where's all the nonsense coming from? We got Keon Zip. What's going on with the boy Zipperoo? Okay, breaking down number crunch. We asked you guys some questions earlier in the day. Always let the guys get your guys' intake, your insight on things. We're gonna go over that. Steve has his favorite segment, which is hot takes, and then of course none other than where we fail miserably day in and day out, where we just get absolutely just ransacked on pick'ems. So we're there. That's where we're at on that. But before we get into anything, got a couple things we got to cover. We got baby news, we got gift news, and we got a super chat we got to cover real quick. Dominic, little love from the boy there, says the pickle shirt. The pickle shirt's back. That's my favorite hoodie, guys. Like you guys shit on it, but I love it. It's my World Series hoodie. Like, can we not? Like, we're like 5 minutes in. Like, let's not get too crazy away. Baby news. There's no baby yet. Nothing. Nada. Zilch.
The news is that we are not doing this from the hospital.
Yeah.
Therefore, the baby news is
the baby knows. The baby knows when the stream is. I told her, I was like, the baby's gonna come right during the stream, which wouldn't be bad. If she comes busting in here, goes on water breaks, and we get both of our reactions, would be a W, in my opinion. So
I feel like we can edit that into something nice. Yeah.
Yes, I think that'd be a good time. So I love that. And then we got a gift. Hold on real quick. You want to talk about it, Steve?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Look, the High Top fam has never stopped just wowing us and impressing us with everything that we do. High Top family loves one another. The Discord, get into the chat. I mean, these guys, they're absolutely a riot. But what is fun is it's still a family. Shelton obviously is only a day or two away from adding
hopefully
the newest. Adding the newest high top edition to the Walker family. So he's got a little something from the family, a little gift from
can we shout out who it's
Cody
from?
Sprague.
Okay,
yeah, our friend Cody Sprague. So K Sprague, appreciate the gift. Shelly, I'll leave this part up to you there, my man.
Cody is the man. Has been nothing but supportive this entire time, man. I really do appreciate it, Codes. I was told to wait. We put it into a nice pack. Look, we don't know what it is. It has nothing to do with the sex. It's the box we had at the house. So one of our buddies came in, Ricky brought it over, and so we packaged it up here. So here we go. Open her up. Okay. What are we working with here? Little blanket, little Gators blanket for the baby. I was told to bring this with me, so I'm assuming now it's due to the fact to roll the baby up in. Oh, look, a little beanie, little Gator beanie. Let's go, bro. Dude, that's
you gotta
too.
keep that head warm, baby.
That is too cool, bro. Like, with the size of my head, that's gonna fit like a glove. Look at that, and then a blanket to roll it up in, boys. Come on now, Co's the man, boys. With the little bit squishy's gonna come rolling in. I love it, bro. I mean, I think it's really cool that we've created a family here that wants to come and hang out and be a part of it. So, Co, man, I don't know if you're here right now, but he's been a member for a long time, man. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. It means the world to me and to the wifey and to baby Squishy once he gets rolling. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the love and support.
Thanks, Code.
All right, we already got the super chats flowing. So we'll go into those, and then we're going to dive into – actually, I'm going to pass it back to you, Steve, because it's your history lesson of the day. Before we do that, let me read the comments here. Let's say hey to everyone who's here. Dominic says another pickle shirt. You already did that, bud. You already did that. And we got Todd Freeman. It's my 34th birthday. Let's go Gators Pickle Rick from Todd Freeman. It's also my mother-in-law's birthday. She's here right now eating pumpkin cheesecake. So happy birthday to everybody, especially to Mama J. So what's going on, Mama? How are you? Alex Compton, what's up, big dog? Mike Litteris, Adrian, Johnny. Boys, welcome to the chat. Chris Sole, eh? What's going on? Q Lee, how we doing? B Bean. Yes, I'm wearing the pickle shirt. Golly. Dang, Johnny said his kid came 2 weeks late.
What vibrator / dildo company are you endorsed by right now?
I wish we were. Purely missionary. What a name. What a name, boys. I love it. Gator CEO Travis Everett. What's going on, baby? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream, big dog. Big Forms. I heard Connor Wegman is starting. We assume so. We prepared our conversation for that, so I was assuming so. Slime Ball Hunt. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Sometimes I'm so scared of
TK Gator Nation.
These names. You fall face first into everyone.
I know. Mark Bechet, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. Scott 0020, what's going on, man? Andrew Apple, what's going on, big dog? Josh, how you guys doing? Kevin McCurley, Ed DePriest, what's up, baby? Luke, Daniel D, how you doing, big dog? Fish Reef, Ashton, what's going on, boys? Welcome to the stream. I think that's everybody that's here. We got a couple more super chats. Gator gang, yo, what up, big dog? Chris Roy says piss missiles are flying, eh? And kind of loopy says the Long Johnson shirt has returned. Clearly, I'm on to something here, boys. I love it. All right, Steve, I'm going to pass the buck to you. We got a little history lesson for you. Steve brought this up, and when he told me the story, I loved every second of it. So go ahead, Steve. Take the buck, bub.
Look, in the history of the ACC, any FSU fan, or really any fan of any team in the ACC, knows that the ACC refereeing has never been good. The officiating has been
It correlates with the football teams. Go ahead, continue.
Of course, yes. I mean, look, if you're a Florida fan, I believe you remember the name Jack Childress, who the Swindle in the Swamp, who, FSU beat Florida back when Ben Troop and Chris Leak were there. But it was ACC officials that made some of the most questionable calls I've ever seen that went our way, so I won't knock it. However, in the ACC officiating crew, there was a man by the name of Ron Cherry. He was one of the most swag referees that you have ever seen in your lifetime. He reminds me of an old school high school history teacher. Just one of those guys who was like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about history today, Cat Daddy. But we're gonna talk about the honey bunnies." It's like one of those cool cats, right? It's just one of those cool cats. So we had this guy named Ron Cherry. And today, November 12th, is the anniversary.
It's the second. It's November 2nd. It's November 2nd.
Sorry. It's a bunch of ones. Look, November 2nd. It's the anniversary of one of the greatest referee calls in the history of all time. Ron Cherry calls a personal foul against NC State. And Shelton, do you have this thing queued up?
I do, sir. I'm always prepared for you and ready to rock and roll, Steve. Even if it's whether it's the 12th or the 2nd, I'm always ready to go. And
doesn't matter what day it is.
Here we go. All right, I got it queued up. Audio should be good. Audio should be checked. All right, here we go. Here goes the call.
Brian looks on.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business. He played it there.
He was giving them the business, baby.
15-yard penalty. 15 yards. on number 69 for giving him the business. And
Incredible.
look, if you let the clip roll just a little bit longer, even the offensive lineman looks at at his sideline at the coaches and goes, he had no clue. I mean, look, he knew what it meant, but there's no such thing as a personal foul for giving him the business.
Giving him.
You know who got the business this weekend? Michigan players in the tunnel.
They did
That's
get the
giving the business.
they definitely did get the
They
business.
got the business. Woo, boy.
Yep.
But hey, look, happy anniversary to Ron Cherry and the greatest the greatest referee call of all time. Personal foul, number 69. He was giving him the business.
I love it. I think it was a good way to start the show. I appreciate it, Steve, to get the boys fired up. So thank you for bringing.
I don't know what day it is, but aside from that.
No, I love it. And TJ, seriously, you guys are already in the chat. He came out and tweeted, said, look, I'm shutting down the recruit. Marcus did this kind of just not too long ago, too, where, look, we've got a cool, hard commit. We're going to talk about that, too, because there's been a lot of noise and hoopla about people leaving and whatnot. So that's the rumor where that comes into play. But before we get into that, let's dive right into it, boys and girls. We got Texas A&M this week. We've had a lot of noise. We've had a lot of distractions. I feel like I talked about this time and time again of the gauntlet that Florida had for the first four games, and somehow we found a way to create noise in another gauntlet outside the football field. Somehow, some way we did it. I don't know how we did it, but we sure did. And here we are coming into Texas A&M, 4-4. They're 3-5, and it's going to be a nail biter. Going into Kyle Field's not going to be easy. It looks like Connor Wegman's going to get to start over King. Obviously, he's a freshman or a sophomore, I believe. Threw for 4 touchdowns last week and like 385 yards. So
look good.
Let's talk about it. What's your take? What do you think, Steve?
So look, on paper, right now, neither team feels confident. I don't think that Florida feels very confident in what they're doing in regard to the offense. AR can be flashy. He can be high. He can be low. He is basically the dichotomy of a fan. Like, you can see it on his face. He can play high, and when he's confident, he's playing with swagger. He looks great. When he's not, he looks just like the average fan sitting on the stands. Like, oh, I'm just miserable. So, look, just on the surface level, the game is at Texas A&M. Texas A&M plays very well at home. They have not had a lot of home games. They finished the season with home. I think they only have one away game left. Texas A&M plays very well at home. Florida has played better. Go Gators on the road. So it's going to come down to a couple of things, and it really just depends on. Again, I think it goes down to which version of AR do you get? Is it the uptight first half of Georgia or the third quarter of Georgia and the entire Tennessee game? But like it's going to be a battle. That's going to be a very, very tough atmosphere. It's a noon game, which is 11 o'clock out there. So I think that helps. I think that helps Florida big.
Why do you think so?
Well, I mean, look, if you're going to fill a stadium, you would love to have a 3:30 kickoff or at least a 2:30 kickoff out there.
Sure.
Just the more time that you have to get people together, right? Not everybody lives in College Station. There's not a whole lot there. So if you're a fan of Texas A&M, more often than not, you're driving in. So that means that you're leaving earlier. You may be a little bit late to the game, whatever the case may be. Right now, I hate to say it, but Florida's not a marquee matchup. So you may get a little bit of a lighter crowd as opposed to, a night game, a 7 p.m. kickoff, and maybe have that crowd rocking. Again, it's the 12th man. If they can get it a full stadium, that's 100,000 people that go absolutely berserk. It is a great home advantage. A 12 p.m. kickoff absolutely helps Florida. 11 a.m. out there. So I think that, the things are lining up. You got Wegman coming back. He played well last game. But I just feel like Florida right now is they can out athlete them. They just have to be able to make plays. They just did not make plays against Georgia.
So I think with what's gone down in the last, few days here, the last 48 hours or so with Britton Cox, Mark Long, the AP announcer or reporter, excuse me, and just all the noise that's going on right now with Florida and calling for the man's head. I was in a space earlier today on Twitter, and Chris Orley, can you remember? I'll talk to you like that in a second.
Okay.
There's a lot of, just people are frustrated. Why aren't we dropping the bag? Why aren't we dropping players on these recruits? Because that's where the frustration is coming from. We're losing on and off the field. So people are starting to get frustrated. They're losing their patience. I've been preaching this whole time. It's too soon, but I think that's getting drowned out by the negativity and the antsiness that's happening around us. Even with me pointing out the fact that we've lost to 3 of the top 10 teams in the college playoffs, I feel like we're kind of just beating this dead horse, kind of going around about it. But, and I honestly, how I know we're losing? How when I say we, like I'm meaning the narrative, we're losing the narrative because we keep talking about it. I keep bringing it up, right? And now we're starting to believe it a little bit in a sense of like, yeah, maybe things aren't where we would like them to be. Even though if we win out or win in 3 of the last 1 games, we're 7-5, we're right where we want to be, right? I would think so. In a sense, I don't think that would be a bad season, honestly. 7-6, if we ever able to go to a bowl game and win out the bowl game, I think we would be like, yeah, I'm happy with that. Obviously, we went 7-6 last year, but nothing changed this much this year, especially with the new coach. So that had to be expected to a certain extent. Winning at Texas A&M, to me, it feels a little bit more important than it probably did at the beginning of the season. And especially with them being 3-5, they were coming in here like I anticipated Texas A&M being, maybe probably a little bit better the record than what they do have, maybe 1 or 2 losses versus being 3-5, especially with flipping over to a sophomore quarterback. I wouldn't be this way, but we got to get the W here, boys. I want it more than anything that I've wanted this entire year, more than a 3rd down stop at this point. Something I think that has to be important is that first drive. The last few weeks, I feel like we've gotten off on a flat foot. We'll make a big stop and we go out there and we take a minute to get the gas going. And once we get the car going, it's too late. It feels like we're playing catch up. And we did it against Georgia, we did it against Tennessee, we did it against LSU, and it's like we're just run out of gas or run out of time. Georgia, we ran out of gas, but we have to be able to get the ball moving and get things rolling and get into our rhythm very quickly. And I think running the ball is going to be a big key. I see you guys in the comments saying that. And look, but it's got to be running effectively. We can't just run it because it feels like, oh, it's time for us to run the ball. Like we need to come out and pound the ball and get like how we did Utah. I mean, we came out and set the tone quick. And I'm hoping Billy doesn't get too outside of his comfort zone. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on him this week, especially with the release of Britton Cox. How is the defense going to respond? How are they going to prepare? Because if they have a down game at all or show any signs, he's going to be ridiculed for releasing Britton Cox. Because the reason being is still unknown. I think we all have a pretty good idea. It was more just a cancerous in the locker room. There was apparently a few fights. It's all hoopla. I don't know what's concerned. I think that, again, the reason for not saying it is to protect Britton Cox, not saying anything. But it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's a bigger game than I probably anticipated it originally.
Yeah, it's a big game for both teams, and that's the worst part. Is that look, Texas A&M, they're licking their wounds, right? They've gone through, just quarterback after quarterback at this point. Jimbo is under a ton of heat, but with Texas A&M's schedule, they finished the last 4 games, 3 are at home. So it feels like both teams right now are in a little bit of a desperation mode. I don't know if Texas A&M can make a bowl. I don't really think they can. I haven't looked at their schedule enough to see what I think the total outcome can be for them. They've got Florida, Auburn, UMass, and LSU. So they have to win 3 out of 4 games. So their hair is on fire right now. And that's a bad team to play, especially when they're at home. So, gosh, it feels like with some of the noise in the system right now for Florida, it's the worst time to go into a game that you feel like you really have to win and you have to play well on the road in order to get a critical win with the remaining schedule coming up. Gosh, you feel that right now Billy is starting to feel the pressure that he didn't feel at the beginning of the year. He was fluid. He was relaxed. he had nothing to lose, and now it feels like he's operating like he has something to lose. He speaks a little tighter, he speaks a little bit more like, I don't know, condensed in what he's trying to get his message across, and that's at least just from the press conference that I saw with Brennan Cox and his announcement there. Now, look, nobody's going to be happy and fluid and upbeat about that kind of conversation. So that could be a very, very small, body of work. But it feels like there's like the tension is ratcheted up right now for Florida, when at the beginning of the year they were playing a little bit more free and
sure. I mean, it's just like the beginning of the game, right? I mean, you have the whole world ahead of you. The world is your oyster. Yep. So there's a pressure there, but it's exciting because it's fresh and new. And now we're in the middle of it. I think Billy's cool. He had his press conference today. He looked more cool, calm, and collected. They shut the live down before and quickly after this one here, but. I think Mondays was more of a Soro thing, right? Because obviously talking about Brenton Cox. I see you guys talking about Brenton Cox was the defense. I disagree. I was pretty adamant all year about him being a one-trick pony in a sense of he's got one move and it's 0 to 100. And look, is the guy impactful? Is he explosive? Is he athletic? 100%. But I think part of it too, he wasn't really buying into the defense. He was playing his own game out there. If you watch it, he really wasn't. I mean, towards the end there, he was getting a little better, but he wasn't holding the line. Sure, he would always be back in the backfield and just miss the tackle, but he was leaving a massive hole on whatever side that he was on. And again, he's playing for himself, trying to get drafted, so I understand it to a certain extent, but I don't think it's going to be as big as a miss as we think. I could be wrong. Could be my words here, but I'm not too concerned about it. I think the offensive side of things is my concern. I think the defense is starting to find a rhythm. Guys are playing a little bit better. The play calling seems to be better. I think Stetson Bennett isn't the greatest either. I think he was exposed a little bit, and we'll get into that because, obviously Georgia versus Tennessee is going to be this weekend. But Anthony's got to get comfortable. He's got to get moving quickly, and the run game has to be established sooner rather than later. And I feel like it's been invisible, or it's been non-existent the last few games because we're playing catch-up. We have to throw the ball, and then when you have to throw the ball, it makes it harder on everybody else.
Look, I loved your game plan at the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, it felt like they weren't going to ask Richardson to go out and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. That wasn't the style of game that you were going to win. You have essentially a two-headed running back monster, or at least it felt like a two-headed. It could be a 3-headed guy like back there that you could just rotate guys in and out. They were always fresh, and it kept Richardson in a state where the defense was always wondering if there was going to be a run. They could run passing plays off that play action, and it just feels more and more like the running attack has gotten so like
stagnant.
The defenses aren't respecting it.
Sure,
they're almost to the point where they're like, we're going to make Richardson beat us because they don't even respect the running attack.
Yeah, they're not.
Right?
They're not utilizing. It's not. They're not establishing it. It's not as powerful as it was. I don't feel like.
But against Utah, it was. I mean,
yes.
like they would bring in fresh legs after fresh legs after fresh legs, and it just felt like you were wearing
the O line was there. The running.
Defense.
Yes.
Yeah. But it made it easy because it made everybody else function better when the linebackers took that one false step forward, or a safety waited that one extra second when somebody could get over the top. And right now it doesn't. Like, they're not. I don't know if it's been maybe because some of the running backs haven't performed. I know that you guys have had a running back that's maybe knocked down a couple of pegs on the depth chart, but it went from against Utah. It felt like you guys could run the ball 3-4 yards, chunk, and then as soon as Utah backed off, Richardson could either find a hole in the defense, or he could take off with his legs, and everything just feels like it's just getting the walls are closing in, and you guys are operating in a very, very small environment, and you're trying to find ways to create holes, and the defenses are. I don't know if it's just because they've seen more film or what, but I don't know. Luckily, I don't think Texas A&M's defense is all that great. I know they're athletic, but I don't believe that they're playing very, very positional on their end as well. I think they've got a lot of guys who are out of position and kind of doing what you referred to with Brennan Cox, who are a lot of guys playing as individuals and less as a body of work in a unit. So that may be very well all it takes. I mean, you only need one or two guys to miss an assignment, and next thing you know, there's a running opportunity there. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I think if Billy was smart, he would just take a step back, get the ball into the hands of his running back, start figuring out ways to get these guys the ball in the backfield, whether it's in a toss, whether it's a read option, whether it's some trap plays where they're either getting to the outside or maybe even just bringing a guard over to try to get to the B gap and just get somebody up on a linebacker on a pulling guard. But if you could just get the running game going consistently, I think that Richardson will be more comfortable back there because they're not just gunning. The defense isn't just gunning for him anymore. And Georgia was gunning for him. They were after him from the time that the ball snapped. They didn't care about the run. They could guard the run with 3 down linemen, and they were just leaving a guy free to just go as fast as they could at Richardson. It was just driving him nuts in the first half.
Texas A&M, they've given up. They gave 31 to Ole Miss, 30 to South Carolina, 24 to Bama, 42 to Mississippi State. They kept Arkansas, Miami, and App State pretty close. Obviously, they lost to App State, but Ole Miss has a pretty explosive offense, to only give up 31. So I think their defense isn't completely horrendous. Again, they lost to South Carolina. South Carolina, they're in a sense they remind us of us to Florida a little bit. You don't know what team you're going to get on any given Saturday. I think the bottom half of the SEC is kind of like that right now, especially with Arkansas, Texas A&M, etc. But it's going to be tough. Uncle Lou says, I figured you guys would talk about next year by now. Look, I think these games are going to be just as important, especially with what's going on with Britton Cox. People are saying, should we expect more? Yes and no, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more. There's some rumor mill going around. We're going to get into in a minute, but I do want to talk about something really quick. You guys are talking about the chat a little bit. Steve commented on the video. Felt the need to comment on the Mark Long situation that happened on Monday, where the hot mic was rolling, and he goes, "I don't give an F. I'll be here longer than Billy." I wanted to get your take. You commented on it. But I made a video about it, kind of made my appeal. I don't mind to argue with you about it, but what was your thoughts on that situation? Everyone's obviously talking about it.
Okay, so, I mean, just to put things in context. Okay, so it felt like when Billy gave the news about Britton Cox, again, we can never really hear what the announcer or what the press are asking. Why, I still don't know why the press isn't mic'd for the questions, like, in like a debate or like a town hall kind of situation. The fact that we can never really hear what the questions are and who they're coming from is still odd to me that they don't do that in a press conference scenario. But from what I could gather, this guy, Mark Long, wasn't really taking coach speak as an answer. And he was pushing Billy and pushing more and more and more on trying to get an answer as to what happened with the player. Okay, so Billy wraps up his press conference. We know that the players are going to come on shortly thereafter. So the cameras are rolling, the mics are hot, right? Now you just have the press corps who's sitting, down below the stage or just off the podium, just talking amongst themselves. And from what I could gather, and I could be completely wrong, but from what I could gather, one of the press guys said to Mark Long that he was kind of like impressed, or even like, wow, you were really giving Billy like a little bit of a hard time, like with question after question after question about the Britton Cox thing. And Mark Long's response was, I don't give up. I'm going to be here longer than Billy anyway, whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not going to quote the whole thing because I don't know the exact quote. I don't believe it was like hey, Billy can go pound sand. I think his point was, yeah, I'm asking him tough questions. Yeah, I'm asking him difficult questions that he doesn't want an answer. If he's not going to answer them, then I'm going to be here longer than he is anyway. I don't think it was a jab at the guy. I think this is honestly two people, maybe Shelton and I, sitting behind a camera, and we're just having a conversation between the two of us. Hey, like, Shelton, man, you were in that during that part where Billy was up there about the Britton Cox thing. You were really just going at him. Like, you were just question after question after question after question. You were just really getting at. Yeah, I was going after him. I want some answers. Like, I'm going to be here longer than that guy if he doesn't start answering some damn questions. Right? I don't think he's going after the team. He's not going after the coach. He's not going after a player. He didn't call anybody out. Look, this is just, again, off mic. He doesn't know he's even being recorded. He didn't say a damn thing about anybody in specific except for, I was going after him. It's his damn job. That's his job, is to ask these questions. And if he's like, if the guy's not going to answer me and he's got these half-assed answers to valid questions, I'm going to be here longer than he is. I don't think it's a bad thing. I really honestly don't. Like, this is just a hot mic on any conversation that you and a colleague sitting next to you may have had 1,800 times in the course of the last 2 weeks. Is he going after anybody? No. He's just saying, the guy's not going to answer my questions and he's going to dance around it. I'll be here longer than he will. Yes, go ahead. Shelton, right here in the front.
Steve Hawley, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I think you made some solid points. I don't disagree with what you said and how you phrase it. Well done. In a sense of, look, he was just, like, I agree with you. It was just they were having an A-B conversation, see your way out of it. He wasn't necessarily trying to shit on Billy. I think he was, in a sense. I think the way it was said was there was an ego there. And I think that's where Florida fans are being frustrated, because he's sitting there this high and mighty, like, I don't give a shit. That's what it was, right? It wasn't how you phrased it, how like, hey, man, like that was kind of brutal. It's like, yeah, I know it was, but that's my job. I'm supposed to be here. Like, he wasn't being humble about it. He was being a cocksucker about it. And all things considered.
That's how we talk to each other.
I understand that. I understand that.
How often do you and I are humble to one another?
I understand.
We're cocksuckers to each other every single time we talk.
I get that. But it was about somebody else, not to you and I. It was about somebody else. And that's, look, we all do that too. But you have to understand that if it gets caught, you're going to get thrown under the bus of like, wow, this is how you talk about people when they're not around. That's the situation at hand. So now I'm not going to trust that guy, because when I leave the room, here's how he really feels about me. Because he wasn't doing that when I was sitting here. He's not writing an article, having his feelings or his thoughts or his concern. That's where I think the frustration's coming from, because that's the disrespect. That's the line that's being drawn. I completely agree with you. He's going to have his own opinion, his behind-the-door opinion of how he feels about Billy in the situation. Totally agree. He got caught being a dickhead but because of his ego, and that's how it went to be. And I even said in the video, look, if he was writing articles kind of bashing Billy, saying this guy shouldn't be here, etc., he's not going to make it because he's mishandling this, and this, and he's being vocal about it, then he's just a dick, but at least he's consistent. That's not what we're having here. He's asking questions, trying to be like, obviously do his job, but I don't know. It's a tough one. But look, I think some people, it's 50-50. Some people are like, who cares? That's his job. You want to, look, you want a guy like that. I'm not saying you want people in there that's going to just blow the Billy train, right? You don't want someone who's just team Billy ballsack. I totally agree with that. I think there needs to be somebody in there that puts the pressure on Billy. Billy's going to answer the questions. He has. He may not answer them the way you want them to, but that's the other side of it. I'm okay with him asking the questions. I'm okay with him being a dick. But if you come out and you run your mouth and it gets caught on a hot mic, then there's going to be some repercussions from it. That's all.
So then what would you, okay, so then the other part of this, and this is what we've talked about a little bit in the Discord as a group, and the High Top family has been pretty passionate about, both sides of this. Mostly on, get rid of the guy. What would you do at this point, Shelton? So let's just say, hypothetically, you're Billy. You now know about this. It's very out there. Do you let the guy back in to the interview room?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't even lose any sleep about it. Look, so here's the problem. Because
they say that all the time anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's on the mic, and so the media's going to run with it because now it's a popular conversation. But if you're Billy, you cannot care. It's just noise. And it's just noise that if you respond to it, it's just going to create. It's going to show more that noise. It's going to show that you're exactly. So you can't respond to it. It's honestly like when I respond to some of the comments sometimes with us, them kind of roasting us and criticizing our opinion. It's going to happen. I have to expect that when I post things out there that people aren't going to like it, that people are going to have their negative opinion. I don't mind having a discussion, and that's why sometimes when I see it, I get fired up because like if you want to talk shit, I'm more than happy to have you on the show. I'm more than happy to go back and forth with it, but don't sit behind a keyboard because you can hide behind something, saying something. That's where I get frustrated, and I think that's where the line was drawn of like, you're a coward. If you felt a certain way, write an article, that's where your platform is, or say something. Now, again, it was just two guys talking, and it got caught on a mic, so that's the other part of it. It's like he wasn't trying to have that out there, but again, when you are running your mouth, and it gets caught, that's part of that's what's going to happen.
Or what if the fact that the guy, like, what is his name, Mark Long? What if the guy's never had a negative word to ever say about Billy ever, but the one time that he's trying to get Billy to give an answer to a question and Billy's giving coach speak, he gets frustrated and is like, this is stupid. It's maybe it's the one-off scenario that makes the guy look like the biggest asshole ever.
I heard a few things that he's always been a dick.
Maybe we should go back. Oh, okay. Well, that's possible too.
Either way,
But that's the press. That's the press. That's what they're supposed to do.
Look, they have. Unfortunately, they have to be there to ask the hard questions. So I remember when I went to the Friday Night Lights and I went to go say hey to Billy. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want anything. I'm cutting the hard place there because I have the ability to capture whatever I want and kind of break a few rules. Or I respect Billy. What do I do? Right? And it's like, well, I mean, it's either my content that suffers, or I earn a respect star from Billy. So it's a tough place to be in a sense.
When you say I don't want anything, you mean like he didn't want to do an interview? He didn't want to ask.
He didn't want it. Yeah, he didn't want it to go online. So I chit chatted with him, but obviously we couldn't post it. Real quick, we got a few super chats that I want to get to because you guys are awesome and showing some love and support. So I don't want to miss that. North Florida White Trash says need help coming up with a name for the little one. No, thank you though. No. Uncle Lou says, can we do a shout out for the white Tonto man on the left? Assuming that's you. FSU going to roll Miami this weekend. Showing you some love.
I hope so. I hope so. It's a rivalry game. We'll see. Lou, if you want to give me a little bit of love on your morning show, I'm all about it. I appreciate it.
He's saying
I've been watching the hell out of it. It's great.
He thinks FSU sweeps the state, unfortunately. He likes to rile up the chat. He likes to rile the chat. Don't give Steve a shout out on your show. Super chat from boy Dominic says Billy don't mind it. Basically said whatever. Yeah, you have to be. Who cares? The guy's like you said. He's running his mouth, but it was kind of fun. It was more of the timing. Honestly, it's just like one thing after the other is kind of where it came from. And then a super chat from the Golf Week AM tour of Northeast Florida. Real quick, bud. We need to hit the links, big dog. I mean, what's up? The Golf Week AM tour of North Florida. He came as a little bratty. He knows Billy is going to keep players disciplined under wraps. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're coming to. Like, it was just the way he went about it. He just, at the ego, kind of a baby about it. I totally agree. But Golf Week AM Tour, Northeast Florida. I think you've been on here before. You guys have your own league. I'd love to come play. Like, let's talk about it. Shoot me an email. Maybe we can do some kind of.
Don't get him riled up on some golf right now.
Yeah. Let me fire it up, baby. Let's go.
He's got too much free time as it is.
Baby, type. I love it in here. The chat's fired up this morning.
This morning. This is how I know you've been on vacation for too long. It's 9:15 at night. You're like, oh, they're really fired up this morning. It's just a space vortex.
Adrian, he made a good point. He says, agree with your section. He goes, you have to ask the hard questions, but you're in a press room, essentially your workplace. Don't talk or be disrespectful about your boss whilst at work. So I think that's the point too, is know where you're at and understand that this isn't the place to do it at. And I think that's where he should be checked as well too, is like, look, you acted out in a place where you're supposed to be even keel, kind of showed your colors. Like you weren't at the water cooler, you weren't at the bar, kind of just chit-chatting and somebody came and roasted you. You were in the middle of the floor and decided to pop off. And that's a solid point too. Boys and girls, real quick, before we keep moving on, we got 100 plus in the chat. Let's go ahead and drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes by tonight, babies. Let's get it on. Wonder what Saint Nick would have said to that reporter. I think Saint Nick probably would have been a little more spicy. He has the realms to go do that. And Muddy says, let's go Phillies. Disrespectful. Like, that's just uncalled for, you.
I'm rooting for the Phillies. I'm not going to lie. My grandfather was born and raised in Virginia. Philadelphia was his closest his baseball team, and he was a huge fan of Mike Schmidt. So I kind of grew up vicariously with being a Phillies fan until WGN took over.
Shut up, Steve.
WGN took over.
Shut up, Steve. Golf Week AM Tour says, I will send you the schedule. Email me at hightopsports2@gmail.com, please. I would love this schedule. I got to check that, too. Southampton, Aaron Jordan, what's up, big dog? That's my course, baby. The Shores, no, we're not playing at the Shores, Andrew. Sorry, this is local stuff, boys. We're not playing at the Shores. I'm not playing at that dumpster fire for golf course. Okay, so look, big weekend coming ahead for Florida. But let's talk about the rumor mill. There's a lot of noise going around. Apparently, Florida fans, we like to get antsy. We like to start picking and prodding at things. Kamari Wilson is leaving. That's been some news. Andy Jean is going to decommit, possibly flip to Miami. He's taking some some Florida things down. We got to chill, boys. We got to chill on this. I think it's look, if it happens, it happens. At this point, I don't know anymore, but it's a lot of noise, and we can't get caught up into it. It's very easy when it's dark and you're down to look at the negativity and just start letting it pour in and just buy into every negative news. Like somebody hits a tweet out, and then it just gets this ball rolling of like Kamari's. I don't know. I think it's noise. I talked to a few people. I talked to Soderquist. I think it's just a bunch of hoopla. Gator fans getting a little rowdy, getting a little anxious, making up some noise. Could I be wrong? 100%. I've been wrong before. But I think we got to chill. We can't keep talking about the what ifs here. What would be his reason for leaving? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe, again, if there's attitude problems in the room and Billy's like, yeah, we're not having it, because I didn't see him on the field much Saturday. Look, guys, if anything happens, whatever does happen, the recruiting process is a little bit different, but if guys decide to leave, we have to believe in the Billy process. If guys are leaving, then that means they're not working out, and if we don't believe, then that's what's going to happen. No, I don't think Kamari Wilson's leaving. I see you guys in here, but look, I think it's just a bunch of hoopla noise. People are like, oh, he's removing this, removing that. I don't look. I want his Twitter. Nothing changed. It's still a profile picture of him in Florida gear. Kids. Look, my little brother, he deletes his Instagram and TikTok like every 3 days. Just wipes things clean. Nowadays, these kids just delete shit to delete shit. Like, you don't know why, or any reason why they're deleting it. They're just doing whatever. Look, Andy Jean would be a big one to lose, but these next 30 days are going to be next 45 days are going to be spicy with the recruiting, because obviously early signing day is coming up in December. It's going to get dicey. I think this show is going to get extra busy. Steve and I are going to be working double time with baby duty and hopping on here. But look, Billy is not going anywhere. As much as we want to bitch and complain and whine and yell and try to create this animosity, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be the coach for at least 2 years. If you think anything's going to happen any sooner, you're crazy. Now, if things are starting to have some extreme turmoil, like the recruiting trail's trash, we're just not winning games, things could happen quickly. But right now, things are moving in a positive force, just not as positive, I think, as some Gator fans are wanting. But look at the Auburn situation with Brian Harsin. 3-5, this guy's second year, he's already out. There's an underlying factor to that. I came out with a whole video talking about that. Of the recruiting class has been getting progressively worse over the last 3 years. They're finishing 20th in the country, which is meaning they're like 8th or 10th in the SEC, which is just unacceptable. Now, imagine the next guy that's got to come in and fill that role. You finish 20th, 19th, 22th, and now they're sitting at 55th place this year. And now it's probably going to be even worse, because guys are going to go there right now. They don't know who's going to be the coach. Now, if Dion gets it, which that's my next thing, then that could be another factor. But if you're 55, imagine how long it's going to take the new guy to reverse what has been done. That is just, you want to talk about just a complete resurfacing, just ripping up the tile and relaying it down. That's going to be a brutal one, boys. And so it's happening all around us. Georgia took 7 years to win a natty from the Kirby time. Not obviously overall, but 7 years. 5 years to get to one, 7 to win one. It's going to take time. I feel like I'm sick. I'm like a freaking dead, broken record over here, just running my damn mouth. But we got to be patient, boys. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I mean, look, to your point. I mean, it's been a rough week for Florida. Like you've got some recruiting things that didn't go your way. You had some dismissals on high level players that have been productive. It sometimes, especially in college football, it's a very emotional sport, right? I mean, we're more fanatical in college football than I think any of the other sports that we're surrounded by in the States, right? I mean, we're surrounded by the NFL. They're not as fanatical about their teams, but most of them aren't. We're surrounded by baseball. Most of those teams are not as fanatical about their teams as college football fans are about their team. The other sports that are around college football are not as just hell-bent and just crazy about what's going on, not only with their team, but the school. And just at the same time, that fanaticism can also make a couple of bad things or just a few negative small things feel like this insurmountable, like 1 foot on a banana peel, the other one in a grave, and oh my gosh, like we're all downhill from here. There's nowhere to go, but we're in an abyss that we can't get out of. But that's just the nature of college football. At this point, Florida's had a rough week. I get that. You lost a recruit, you lost a player, you lost a rivalry game. It's been a rough go, but let's just everybody take a step back. There's still a top 10 recruiting class that Billy's put together. It looks like most of that will hold. I know there may be, obviously it's recruiting, so things obviously can go a lot of different directions. But again, it's not as bad as the instant flash in the pan that things may seem. Fanaticism aside. So look, there's 4 games left. You've got a great current roster. You've got a good coach who's building for the future. To your point, you don't get a lot of coaches that walk in and win a national championship right away. Jimbo Fisher didn't do it at FSU. That took him about the same amount of time as it took Kirby. Nick Saban, it took him a while to put Alabama back together. Look, if you're Auburn, you've really got to be hating life because the trend of what you're walking into is the opposite trend of what Billy walked into, or even Jimbo for that matter, right? Billy walked into good talent and, a recruiting trend that was decent. Auburn, right? They were recruiting well until Brian Hartson got there, and you would think that he'd be able to keep that momentum going. Not the case, right? Now he's setting the school back. So the next coach that comes in is dealing with a recruiting class in the 50s, in the 30s, whereas he adopted a team that was in the top 15. So look, I understand that sometimes it feels like the entire world is caving in around you. It's not. You trust me, there are schools to your left and to your right that are in much, much worse digress. Especially if you are in, what is it? Eastern Alabama. You're sandwiched between Georgia, Alabama, and Florida State to the south. Like, if you don't get your stuff straight pretty fast, you will become irrelevant. Everybody should just look around and say, thank you. Thank you
could be
for
worse.
Not being an Auburn fan.
So, Crystal has a super chat.
Scared money don't make money,
So that's been getting roasted a lot lately too. So what's the take? Why/how is Cristobal and Brian Kelly out recruiting Napier? Is it just big checks? The scheme that Billy is showing this year? Just curious. So we talked about that today in this Twitter space where Eddie Rojas, who is the founder of the Collective, and that man was selling the hell out of a Collective. He could sell a Prius to a Cowboy. Yeah. Rojas, yeah. He could sell a Prius to the Cowboy, but he was dialed in. But he was talking about the Collective and the importance of it and signing up for it and why it's going to be impactful to players because, and this is what he said. He's like, look, these guys are all leaving for the Miamis of the world, the LSUs. He didn't say LSU, but let's just, play with me here. The Miamis, the LSUs, because they're leaving for a bag. And he's like, what we're trying to show with the Collective is like, look, we can pay these guys $1 million a year through the Collective. He's like, ask Irvon Dexter. Look at his nice new Dodge that he's driving. And he has a badass new TRX that he's driving around. That's not just from bags. That's from the Collective being able to pay that man. And they're pretty vocal about it. Like, yeah. So I think the Collective is going to take time because, again, it's being done the right way. Where it's like, look, over the course of time, you're going to stack your cash. It's going to be a long-term thing. Unfortunately, the Gator Collective can't speak to recruits. I've had multiple conversations with that. We always talk to Papa Stokes. So it's going to be something that has to go on for a year or two to be able to show the work that's being put in of like, look, we got all these guys. Here's the contracts they signed. Here's what we were able to pay them year in and year out by being part of the Collective, right? So that's something that's going to also take time, and we can't just drop a bag off. But look, when you're a high school kid and you don't have a lot, it's going to be a lot easier to just like, here's the bag, rock and roll. Cristobal's always been known to be a great recruiter. So to say who's better, I mean, Cristobal has a history in recruiting. Brian Kelly comes from the Notre Dame aspect and just being, again, I think a great coach for a very long time. So Billy's fighting against that as well, in my opinion, too. But my other point to that is take a look at Texas A&M, where they're at right now. They came off a number 1 recruiting class. There was a lot of claims that bags were being thrown, that money was being thrown, and look how it's coming back to them now. Look how it's impacting them. Three of the people of the class aren't even part of the team anymore. And some people are already looking to transfer that were part of the team as well. So there's just a lot that's going to take time. It's not happening right away. And the collective and Eddie, they keep preaching that they are doing it the right way. What does that mean? I think they're trying to say, in a very low-key way of like, look, we're not just going to go ahead and pay these kids a one-time fee to basically, it looks good, right? Like, sure, they wouldn't commit it to Miami, but then in a year from now, they're going to hop in the transfer portal and come to us anyways and he made a good point. He's like, everyone has one free portal or transfer, right? Which means they can go freely. And after that, it's a little bit more work. So he's like, so what's the value? Because cool, our class looks really good, but then they all just transfer in a year. What's the value in that? So, look, are we getting beat by Cristobal and LSU? LSU they're 2 spots ahead of us, but they have 18 4-stars and 5 3-stars. They have 1 more commit than us, 1 more 3-star than us, same amount of 4-stars. Their 4-stars are just a little bit more higher valued than ours. They don't have any 5-stars. Miami has 2 5-stars, looking to land a few more, flip a few more. So Miami's rolling. Miami's doing a great job. I will credit them that and on how they're doing recruiting. And they obviously, you can't say scheme because Miami looks like dog water on the football field. So I wouldn't say scheme. I think maybe Brian Kelly, his coaching is probably helping a little bit, but their class has been up there before the season even started. But the other thing is Notre Dame is third. They're ranked 3rd. What's impressive about Notre Dame? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of moving pieces in my opinion on that. What do you think, Steve?
We said it going into the season that Cristobal has always been a great recruiter. He was a great recruiter when he was out in Oregon. He's been a great recruiter even as an assistant coach in his different spots as he's moved on from place to place. Moving back to Miami, I think was a great spot. He's an alumni there. He played for Miami, but he also gets handed, NIL money that is a little bit different, kind of to your point, than what you're saying that the Florida NIL is doing. And I know for a fact that it's similar to what the Florida State NIL is doing. They're not handing these guys a lump sum of money to get them in the building. They're giving them a long-term play. But we've said the entire time, Cristobal, great recruiter. The NIL opportunity that he has in Miami just makes that even better. What can he do when he gets these players on the field? It's not good. It is not translating very well at all. And we've been talking about that since the summer on this channel, that Cristobal cannot get the talent, regardless of the stars, regardless of how much he's paying them, regardless of what he does with the amount of talent he has. It always looks pedestrian when they get on the football field. And then you couple that with the fact that they can't get more than 20, maybe 30,000 fans in a stadium. It's just, at some point, these kids are going to stop looking at the lump sum money that is being thrown at them to come to Miami, and they're going to start to look at Cristobal can't coach. They don't have an environment that you would ever want to play football in, which robs you, if you're a college athlete, of one of the best parts of playing college football, which is the environment, because you'll never get that. Even if you're an NFL caliber player, you don't really get that if you go to the NFL. It doesn't have longevity for Cristobal in Miami. I think what Florida State's doing with the Rising Spear, I think what Florida is doing with the Gator Collective, and not just giving these kids an upfront, write a paycheck to get a kid on the roster or to get the commit, but to show them how long-term the NIL will matter for them and their family, because a lot of these kids are just, that's really what they're worried about. Is they come from places that, they're worried about, how can I help my family now that I'm leaving them to go to college? I want to help them now. They're showing them that they can give them a platform that's going to not only help them now, but help them in the next 3-4 years, and potentially move them to the NFL the right way. I think that what Miami is doing is very instant gratification. And if Cristobal can't win on the field with that instant gratification, that money that's coming in hot and heavy right now will dry up very fast. And then that's when you start to see Miami really kind of wavering on, can they keep this consistent?
Something like what Bama and Georgia is building doesn't happen in a snap. It doesn't happen in lightning in a bottle. And we're going to get into, because again, everyone's going to point to Tennessee. I'm sick of hearing about it. I mean, we can do it now. Or is it a hot take? Can we talk about it?
No. Let's get into it now. We've already talked about the Auburn thing. We talked about we've already talked about some of the hot takes. Let's just keep it rolling, baby. Let's go.
I have never wanted Georgia to roll somebody so much in my entire life than I want Georgia to roll Tennessee. I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing Tennessee fans, now that they're ranked number one, of like, we're going to be the next greatest thing since sliced bread. Look, I could be completely wrong and look like a complete moron here next year and eat my words. But I fully believe it's lightning in a bottle. Look, I think they're a great team this year. I'm not hating on them this year, but this whole thing of like Tennessee is back, like I'm so fired up, dude. I can't stand Tennessee right now. I hate them more.
You know what? I'm gonna have a hot take for you. Let's go ahead and roll on the Tennessee thing. We'll take the Tennessee thing. We'll do it now. I'm gonna take something for a hot take, and I'm gonna roll it backwards. But go ahead and hit the buttons right now. Go.
What button am I hitting?
How much you hate Tennessee?
Yeah, I hate them. I can't, like, I hate them more than Philly right now. It's just like this aura is around. Look, I mean, you should. If you're a Tennessee fan, you 100% should. You've earned the right to do this. So do you, boo. But I hope your ass gets rolled this weekend, okay? I hope you get absolutely demolished. Hendon Hooker looks completely lost. Stetson Bennett, the 35-year-old quarterback, outdoes your 34-year-old quarterback, okay? And you're on the outside looking in, playing in a New Year's Six Eve Bowl, and it's as far as you ever get. It's not 1998 again, okay? It's 2005 and on. All right? You caught lightning in a bottle. You're not going to get it done. Bama's going to roll. If you go to the SEC championship, Saban's going to put you into the dirt, okay? Don't just settle down. You haven't won anything yet. You want to talk about moral victories and us having moral victories? You guys are the king of it. All you're doing, you beat Bama and you act like you won the whole goddamn thing. Okay? You acted like I did when Florida won the third quarter. Okay? Let's all simmer down. We're still in the same boat here. Okay? You're still championship-less. All right? Relax. Simmer down. It's right now it's a one-hit wonder. I fully believe that. God, I hope I'm right.
No. Well, I mean, look, that's going to be a saucy take. I mean, I think it boils down to, and I don't think that anything that we're about to say right here is not something that anybody who watches college football doesn't already know. We could be looking at a pre-playoff game coming up this Saturday. And if anybody who's a college football fan doesn't have this game kind of cordoned off in their day, Saturday, November 5th, 3:30. Look, if you got a wedding, tell them they're going to end in divorce. Yeah, tell them they're going to end divorce. If you're going to have a baby that day, then you maybe just maybe tell her, cross your legs and maybe we
lock it in, babe. Baby. Lock it in. Don't be selfish here.
All right. Look, I mean, that's the big game. I see where you're coming from. Like Georgia has built a program, and I hate to do it, but I'm gonna give Uncle Lou a little bit of credit here, because he talks a lot about the difference between a team and a program. And right now, Georgia is a great program. They have brought in talent. They have developed talent. They have had coaches that have come in, left for different positions, upgrades, assistants that have gone to be coordinators, so on and so forth. But their coaching has also been a turnover as well. But they keep bringing in good coaches to back up the coaches that they lost. And I say that's important, because if you look back at, and I use FSU because I watched it so closely, but, when Bobby Bowden was at the peak of his career, we would lose offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, offensive line coach. They would just go and go and go. But he was able to consistently not just keep refilling the talent on the field, but can continue to bring in high-level coaches that would also make that talent work. So it's not just about the talent. What Kirby Smart has done is he has developed an amazing program. He's got the talent that he has recruited. He's got coaches that he trusts. If that coach leaves, he has coaches underneath them that he's either ready to promote, or he is ready to go reach back into his coaching tree, because he has so many relationships out there that he can bring a coach in. But that's the program. That is a well-designed, well-oiled program. Tennessee right now, I'm not taking anything away from what Tennessee has accomplished this year or the talent that they have on their current roster. But right now, Tennessee is a great football team. And if I had to put a program that has been as successful as Georgia against a Tennessee team, I will take the program over the team in a 1-versus-2 game all day. I'll get to that later. I'm taking Georgia.
I love it. I appreciate you supporting me on that, Steve. Usually, sometimes we disagree, but I think your take there of like, look, it's a longevity versus
it's an orange thing. I can't root for anybody in orange.
Fair enough. Even though you went for the Pokes last weekend, but neither here nor there. Real quick, get super chat from the man Chris Sawley. Says the problem is Napier and co. locked in on Kermani and prioritized him since they got into the administration and missed. That's all I'm saying. Big miss. And look, I think we're going to take some L's. That's part of it. It's part of the game. I've defended the guy the whole time. That was a big L, but it's not over. He hasn't signed yet, so we could be, what if we sign him and it's like this is all kind of for a wash. So I don't want to talk about it right now. I really don't. It sucks. It does suck. It's a big miss, and I feel like that from what it is to me, it's a bag thing. It has to be, and I've been kind of adamant about not saying that, but it's got to be a bag. And again, that's where we talked about. That's where it goes back to what I said about the NIL being big. Let's go to the Keon Zip real quick, and then we got to hop into number crunch for this evening. So Keon Zipper, he came out and tweeted there was some news that was kind of rumoring around a little bit. It's part of the rumor mill a little bit that he's going to be out for the year due to injury. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? But Billy spoke about it today at his press conference, said it's a knee injury. He'll be out this game, but it shouldn't be a long-term thing. He's like, I have no idea what the hell happened. I don't know where that came from. So nobody panic.
Probably Mark Long.
Nobody panic. We have the depth chart here. We can look at it really quick here and see what's going on. Obviously, we still got Richardson. No more Britton Cox there at the jack position. Ventrell still getting the start. Bernie still getting the start. Kamari Wilson behind Rashad Torrance. Trey Dean, obviously. Nothing big, nothing crazy. Nothing too crazy going on. Dante Xander's obviously the starter, then Jonathan Odom in that second slot. So nothing crazy there. Good to see that. Outside of obviously Britton Cox missing, it's going to be exciting to see how we fill that hole. And look at that defense. Sophomore, redshirt senior with Ventrell, obviously, followed by a redshirt freshman, and then Amari Burney being a senior. I mean, that's a young football team, boys. Any way you want to crack it, that's a young football team. So it's gonna be a fun weekend, boys. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Let's go ahead and dive into our number crunch. So this segment is when we ask you, the fans, questions. See what you guys are, your thoughts and how close you guys are. I'm going to ask Steve, though. Steve's going to see how close he can get because I can see the answers here, which is no problem. Let me go ahead and get this pulled up. Steve, we're going to see what High Top Sports Nation, what do they say and what you think they said. Okay? So okay. I said, who is ready for the live show tonight at 8:35? Hell yeah or duh? What do you think won and what was the percentage?
Well, I went with duh because I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna go with hell yeah at 84%.
It's 79. It means you saw it, you piece of crap. All right, here's a good one. Who does Auburn land? We got Primetime, Lane Train, Billy O, or Matt Rule. What do you think High Top Sports Nation said today?
I did not see this. Okay, so what are the names again?
Primetime, the Lane Train, yeah. Billy O, or Matt Rule. Who does Auburn land? Hold on. Let me get you the music.
And Billy O being Bill O'Brien?
C.
Matt Rule.
Is that your final answer? music cheesing me out, bro.
Yeah. Matt Rule.
By what percentage?
Oh, Jesus. With 4 people in there, I don't know. 31%.
43. Good guess.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Did I get the right person?
Yeah, you got the right person, piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
Did they, again, this is Sports Nation, what do they think? Did they get the college playoff rankings right? Yes or no? We had 153 votes. I need an answer. I need a percentage. What do you think?
So did they get the college football playoffs right? Yes or no? I'm going to go with no. Probably in the neighborhood of about 60%.
58. You're cheating. I don't believe you.
I'm not, dude.
I don't believe you at
Only
all.
because Clemson's in there when a lot of people thought Michigan would be, and that's my only thought.
Okay.
But I did not see the poll. The only one I saw was hell yeah or duh. That was the only one.
Okay. Fair enough. So look,
to the people out there, I clearly don't visit. I don't visit the site enough. I don't participate in the polls often enough. I'm a horrible host.
Clearly. Let's see here. So that was what we had for our number crunch. Obviously, that's a good time as always. Thank you guys for voting and participating in that. As for the college playoffs, before we get into that, I mean, we can do that as a hot take really quick. What is your thoughts? Obviously, Tennessee is number 1, followed by Ohio State, then Georgia, then Clemson, nudging out Michigan into that slot out. What's your thoughts on that? What did you think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I think the number 4 spot is about as subjective as it could be. Michigan, Clemson, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference there. Clemson beat FSU, which to me is the same thing as Michigan beating, I don't know, Penn State. Clemson beat NC State, which is to me the same thing as Michigan beating Michigan State. I don't know. I feel like the 2 teams are about as interchangeable as possible. I don't think either team has done anything to wow somebody any more than another at this point.
I think it's pretty spot on. I think Tennessee definitely should be number 1. I think Georgia should be over Ohio State, but that's probably biased. So I get that. Ohio State's always going to get love. Look, as much as we think SEC gets a lot of love, Ohio State in the Big Ten and Michigan, they get a lot of love too. And Clemson being over Michigan,
just surprised that Oklahoma's not in there. I mean, I feel like since the playoff system started, Oklahoma's just in it.
It's true.
I thought that they were a staple. I thought they always get the 4th spot. Like that was just like a thing. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and then they lose, and then it's a warm up game,
and they still get it. Oregon's up there pretty high. So Bo Nix, everyone gave me shit for Bo Nix, so they're ranked 8th. So suck on that, okay? Bo Nix and the boys.
You've been riding that Bo Nix thing.
Bo Nix is saving
prediction from the beginning of the year.
Bo Nix is saving his recruiting, his draft stock game by game. He's going to come out, go to the NFL, and be a complete bust. But I love the guy. I think he's doing a great job thus far. But I think Clemson is okay over Michigan simply due to the fact that they have a few more wins over ranked teams. Big win against. I think, look, Florida State was a big win. Wake Forest was a big win. Syracuse was a big win. And NC State. Those are all pretty massive wins. Michigan only has Penn State from a rank perspective. Yeah. And it was a pretty big win. But I think,
did Michigan play anybody to kick the season off? You know what I mean? Like, was there like one of those like kickoff classics that Michigan won that maybe I'm not thinking about? That, like a Georgia Oregon. Did Michigan have one of those this year? That maybe I'm just not giving them credit for.
I don't believe so.
I'm going back to the. I don't think so either.
No, yes, they did. It was Colorado State. They played. So here's their lineup: Colorado, Hawaii, Yukon, Maryland, Iowa, Indiana. Those are first 7 games, bud.
Okay.
And then they finally played Penn State. So that's an absolute like no brainer. That
And then let's just throw this out there. And I know a lot of people here are SEC homers, so they're not going to look at this and be like, "Oh, wow, that schedule is way different." But so Clemson has played Wake Forest, who was ranked at the time, NC State ranked. They played us. They won by 6 away. They played Syracuse, won with a backup quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and then they have so here's what I'll say. Notre Dame and Clemson play this week. Michigan's 5th on the outside looking in. Clemson has Notre Dame this week. If Clemson beats Notre Dame, who is at least playing decent
hold
football.
on. That's dude, I just gave you Michigan's schedule. You still not bought in?
No, I am. But I mean, look, anybody who thinks that that maybe Clemson shouldn't be there, this will be the week where you can solidify Clemson in the top 4, especially if they beat Notre Dame.
Beating Notre Dame is going to solidify.
Notre Dame's 5-3.
But the 3 teams that you just but NC State, Syracuse, Florida State, and Wake Forest isn't enough. But Colorado State, Hawaii, and Connecticut, that's
I'm
powerful.
Saying, if Clemson beats Notre Dame, there is no more conversation about it.
There shouldn't be one anyways.
No,
Notre Dame should not be the. We're just arguing, but no, it shouldn't be a conversation. Notre Dame should not be the solidifier by any stretch of the imagination. Real quick. Super chat for the man, Papa Stokes, baby, in the building, in the chat. Says High Top Sports is the funniest and the best, most live podcast that covers Gators football. I love it, baby. Appreciate Papa Stokes. Thank you for the support, big dog. You the man, baby. Bro, he sent me the house that they're going to be the party house after Marcus signs with Florida. Fucking lit. It's a good time, boys. It's going to be a good time. All right, Steve, you're up, baby. You are up with your hot takes. What do we got for us today, big dog?
Let's go. We're going to touch a little bit backwards on Auburn. Oh, my goodness. Auburn has fired their head coach after a year and a half. They've set the recruiting backwards, but yet they feel like they're going to go ahead and hire a new head coach. At this point, after Tuberville, after just coach after coach after coach, at this point is Auburn poisoning their own well with another coaching turnstile. Is it better to get the coach out, or is it better to just ride the wave to show other coaches that you're actually going to keep them? Look,
I think Florida's in this boat right now. That's a great. I mean, that's where I feel like Florida is in that decision making of like, do we, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? Do we just keep spinning the wheel here and hoping for a lightning in a bottle, or we invest in somebody and rock and roll? And that's kind of what I talk. I got a video coming out today or soon about that, where I say Dion will be a good hire, but there has to be time. You have to be patient. I think where things were headed with Brian Harsin, yes. Another thing that I keep talking about are these damn contracts they're giving to these coaches. I think it's kind of not new, but they're in this weird limbo stage where they're giving these guys these guaranteed contracts. And like, think about it. You're paying this guy $15 million not to work. Who would give a shit? Seriously, who would give a shit? He balled out in Boise State. If he really wanted to, he could always go get another job making a smooth $150K, $200,000 anywhere. But you just gave the guy $15 million. Where's the? I mean, the whole thing of a legacy thing. I guess people just don't care anymore. Like, I wouldn't do it. Right? I would want to hustle it out and grind it out. But once you find yourself at a certain point, like why try to work your way out of it? And I think that's where they realize it's like what's the drive for him to work himself out of this hole? He's guaranteed $15 million, and he's gonna just ride this wave. Whether he does good or bad, he's gonna get $15 million. So where's the drive? So you have to fire him. Yes, you have to. You got to end it. But what's gonna change is this next contract, who they sign and how they pay him. That's what's gonna make a difference, and how much time they invest and allow for things to work. And I was thinking about this too, because we always get frustrated about the AD who they hire. Like, where's the judge on that? You know what I mean? Like, who's making that call of who gets hired? I know who's getting that call, but it's like that's the guy that's really in charge, not necessarily the coach. It's the guy who's hiring the coach. Who's making that call? I mean, it's like you're hiring a manager to run your company. and you're making a bad call on the manager that you're picking. And at some point, you either have to invest in your manager, and it's on you as hiring and hiring the wrong person over and over again, or we're just in a world where people are getting paid too much. I don't know.
Yeah, so the weird thing with Auburn is that the boosters, the high-level boosters, are almost the athletic director at that school. I want to say there's a guy named Bobby Louder, who I want to say owns banks in Auburn. So this guy is a high-level financier to the Auburn Athletic Association. But this guy makes it very clear that he's almost like the Jerry Jones, like general manager. He just has a presence, right? So for a coach to come into Auburn, you're not dealing, even right now, they don't even have an athletic director. I think they just hired an athletic director. But if you go to Auburn, you understand that you're not only dealing with the university, but you're dealing with the university getting pressure from all of these high-level boosters. And the boosters have so much control at that university that if you're not on their good side, you're almost done as it is. They turn over athletic directors like it's nobody's business. So I think it's Bobby Louder. I'll look that up later, but I'm pretty sure it's that guy is one of the main people. But so we talk a little bit about some of the different candidates. Let's be honest. So you talk about Bill O'Brien, right? If Bill O'Brien was to go to Auburn, he is a guy who was a head coach at the NFL. He was also a general manager for the NFL team. If he goes there and has to start dealing with these high-level boosters that are dumping a bunch of money in there, he's going to tell these guys to go pound sand. He's not dealing with that. He's an old-school grinder. Deion Sanders is not going to go to a place where Deion can't be Deion. Deion's going to make some calls. He's going to run the show because that's what Deion does. He ain't going to Auburn because the Auburn boosters run too much. Auburn has to be very careful because, let's be honest, if Brian Hartson would have never left Boise State, Brian Hartson would have been just fine and happy as could be out where he was before he left. And yet here he is, don't get me wrong, getting a paycheck. But what coach is going to go to Auburn knowing the environment of the way that the boosters have so much control and be willing to risk being fired in 18 months? Auburn is making themselves their own worst enemy. And I know Florida has very short patience for coaches, and a lot of other schools do, but this feels like a different environment where they are getting they pushed Tommy Tuberville out. They were flying coaches in to interview when he was still the coach and never told him they were doing it. Right. And then even their last coach, his name avoids me, but he ran the spread option like it was a godsend.
Auburn,
he
Gus.
went to the national championship. Yeah, Gus Malzahn with the sweater vest, right? He took him to the national championship, and don't get me wrong, he had a couple of rough years, but he was just gone that fast. If you're Auburn, what coach do you think you're going to get? Do you think you're going to get a seasoned coach that's going to have to deal with that booster situation? No. Do you think you're going to get a lower level coach from a smaller school like a Boise State to come there now? No, you're not keeping anybody. You don't trust anybody to stay there for any length of time. So now you've eliminated the young and up-and-coming coach, and you've basically said that the seasoned tenured coaches who are going to want to do things their own way have to deal with the boosters. They are putting themselves in a very, very precarious position on who's going to even want to take that job moving forward. It's going to be one guy who has nothing to lose. It certainly won't be Lane. But it's going to be somebody who has nothing to lose.
So David Williams says there's a lot of the most respected programs that seem to be hiring coaches every 3 to 4 years. Texas has been in that position in the last decade, and this decade also, and it hasn't really done them any favors. And I agree. I think these teams are trying to be relevant again, trying to catch up with the Sabans of the world, just Saban.
Yeah, but they want instant gratification, and it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe, I think.
Guys been building it, yeah. The guy, and now it's built, right? I mean, it's there, and he keeps a smooth running ship. Dabo and Clemson, he's built it just smooth, and it has its down years, but its down years are still a great year for most. Harbaugh's done a great job at Michigan. It's been there for a little bit. Ohio State, to me, has been the only one that's really done a great job of the rotating coaching wheel and being able to bounce back quickly. But I mean, I've talked about time and time again of Ohio State and how great they are at I mean, the ability to recruit Ohio State is just it's a shoe-in. So Ohio State's Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at USC.
Was that a pun?
What? A shoe-in? Oh, because it's yeah. It wasn't, but I mean,
I'm going to give you credit for doing that on purpose.
It's the dad in me. It's just starting to kind of just come through.
The dad jokes are just a flowing, man. I get it.
Yeah, hey, make sure you guys like the video, boys and girls. Make sure you subscribe as well too. We just passed 4,000 subs, so thank you guys for the love and support. Really do appreciate it. What other hot takes do we got before we go on to the pick 'em, Stevie? Oh, before we do that, let's show some love real quick to our sponsorship, MyBookie. I've been getting a lot of heat from MyBookie. Pun intended there. So let's get some signups, boys and girls. Make sure you guys, when you guys sign up, make sure you use that code HIGHTOP. He says we got some signups, but we're not using the code HIGHTOP to get double your deposit. So lock and load. But you know sports and you pick winners all the time, so why not get paid for them at MyBookie? MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds and contests for all your sports betting needs, anytime, anywhere. Bet on the NFL, NCAA, or swing for the fences with the brand new Money Bag. The MyBookie Money Bag is one of a kind opportunity to spin for crazy odds on props and futures. Just place your bet, spin the wheel, and get ready to score epic odds on the best teams, athletes, and events. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, though. Sign up free today. Use the promo code HIGHTOP and claim a deposit match of any amount up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code HIGHTOP to claim your deposit bonus and give yourself the competitive edge. It's not just a sports book; it's a community. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. That Money Bag thing is actually kind of cool. Like you can put like $10 down, and then it spins the wheel, and then it'll pay you out more than what the odds are. Again, it's kind of like it's a jackpot combined with betting, all into one. So check it out, boys. Right. Show some love. If you're already betting, you're already going to be blowing your cash. Might as well go double it up and utilize it somewhere that is a big fan. So
the fact they're giving you like doubling your money just for using the code, like. I mean, my gosh! Like, just go in there, throw your name in, throw your hat in the ring, double your money, and then listen to our picks. Do the exact opposite, and you're bound to make money.
Just honestly, yeah.
All right. So this is going to be a good one. All right, and I kind of pulled this one out of a conversation that we were having earlier. I did see an article on it. Didn't go too far into it. However, since we're talking about Georgia being a program and Tennessee being a team, is Josh Heupel an NFL football coach before the kickoff of the 2023 football season?
God, would I love that. You know what? I'm going to say just because I know Tennessee would just burn to the ground. It's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. I think some things have to happen for that to take place. I don't know. These things always intrigue me because you got something kind of growing and building in Tennessee. Why leave for the NFL? I know the paychecks are a little bit bigger, but it's always questioned to me. To me, it's not much different, but again, I guess it's more kind of like, what do you like? What do you enjoy coaching? Do you feel like, hey, I can do a better job coaching grown men versus kids, and I don't have to worry about the recruiting aspect. There's other, all this jazz, free agency. I mean, look, it's the next big thing. It's what you chase. But Nick Saban, I mean, he's never going to the NFL. The guy's found his home, right? I mean, he tried it though. He tried it. He at least tried it.
Hated it.
Yeah. So, but I would love to see that. Do I think it happens?
Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. All right. So, like, the way I look at this is, a college football coach knows that he is like a stock, right? If you are winning games, you are the number one team in the country. You know that as a coach, especially if you are coaching a team that has been perpetually bad or perpetually average, let's just go with that for Tennessee. If you are a coach that is now taking a team that has been just kind of trying to find their way for the last 10 years, like kind of roaming through the desert per se, and you've turned them into the number one team in the country, your stock, your value as a coach is at the all-time high. Okay. Now, we've also talked about...
Steve's feeling it, boys.
Hold on, baby. Now, we've also said that, man, this is lightning in a bottle for Tennessee with some of the seniors and all the players that they have who may or may not be part of that team next year. So, if you're Josh Heupel, you're thinking, Can I maintain my stock value next year when some of these players aren't there? I don't think you feel that confident, and you don't want your stock to drop. If an opportunity in the NFL pops up, I think Josh Heupel jumps on it while his stock is high before he has to rebuild, because there's not a whole lot back there for Tennessee.
I just don't think he'll do it before the 2023 season being over. That's all.
No. Before kickoff of the 2023 season. So between the off season and the kickoff of 2023. That's what that was the way I said it. Is Josh Heupel a NFL coach before kickoff of 2023?
I could see yes, because I agree with what you said in a sense of you're selling the news high. You're right. You're buying the news, right? And you buy the news and you sell once it's the investment's kicking back in. So I would love it. I really would. But I agree, because like it's very quick for your stock to drop within 4 months in college football. And you can go to the NFL and he'll guarantee himself 3 to 4 years of an opportunity to get a good draft.
Surrounded by a GM. Like you always have that's the beauty of a
you go to the
NFL
Panthers,
coach.
Your expectations aren't going to be that high.
Low.
Now they're not high at Tennessee, but they're going to be high now based on what he's done his first year. I like what you're saying. I agree. I love it.
All right. So the last one, and then we'll move on to the pick'ems. And this one might be a little bit salty for the chat. So Florida right now is sitting at 4-3. You have 4 games left between Texas A&M.
4-4.
4-4. You have 4 games left. You have Texas A&M, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Florida State. You need 2 wins out of those 4 games to be bowl eligible.
Book it.
When it's all said and done,
book it.
Is Florida a bowl team? Yeah,
book it.
They're in. All right. Okay.
Easy.
Which? Okay, so Vanderbilt's a given.
Florida State.
We'll just throw Vanderbilt.
Florida State.
Okay. So they beat Florida State at Florida State. Okay.
Yep.
On a Friday. All
yep.
Right, deal. So you think you lose to Texas A&M and South Carolina?
4-0.
Oh, so you have 4 straight.
Sweep. Give me the broom.
Fair enough. All right. And then that would put you in what? Probably the Outback Bowl?
Probably New Year's Six Bowl. New Year's Six Bowl. What do you think? Do you think we make it?
With Vanderbilt being a laydown, yes, because I think that you guys will probably beat South Carolina. The Texas A&M game, that's saucy, and then the Florida State game is there's just no telling what happens there. I think Florida and Florida State's teams are very, very evenly meshed right now. Both quarterback positions can be sporadic at best. Both defenses can play well at times. It's going to be one of those games where he who makes the first mistake loses.
Steve.
It's going to be one of those other games.
Book it.
I think you guys make the bowl. I think you guys make a bowl. With Vanderbilt, I think you win one of 3 out of Texas A&M, South Carolina, and Florida State.
Book it. Real quick, super chat from the boy Dominic says, "I'm number 1. Screw y'all. He's still number 1 in our fantasy football league. I can't wait for that guy to lose first round of the playoffs." All right, boys, let's dive into the pick'ems. It's been a long show. It's been a long evening. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us as usual. Love every minute of it. You guys are incredible. Make sure we drop a like. We're 30 likes away from 100. Let's see if we get there before the night's over. Stevie,
we got this.
You made a huge tear last week. It's 29-35 is your record currently, and I am 32-38. I'm getting closer to positive, but not close enough. It has been a brutal run for us, but this is where we turn. I hate college football and pick'ems, but this is where I turn the corner. Bro, Oklahoma State gets blown out like it's a Tuesday. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm doing.
Like, not even a point. Did they score a point? 48-0? I think
Blowout.
It was 48-0.
Blowout.
My God.
So, go ahead.
All right, let's get into this thing. So we'll jump into our games first. So we have Florida State at Miami, 7:30 Saturday night. Florida State is favored by 7.5. Who you got?
Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to pull my games up. Sorry, give me a sec. Say that again.
Florida State rivalry game. Your rivalry was last week. Ours is this week. Florida State at Miami. Florida State's favored by 7.5 in Miami.
Give me Miami.
Miami. All right. I'm going to take Florida State. I think it'll be close. I don't I don't feel super good about it. I hate that game all day, every day. But fuck Miami. Fuck Miami. Florida at Texas A&M. Texas A&M
Go
at
Gators.
home is favored by 3. I
Easy.
figured you would say that. I already put you
Book
down for it. Just to see what the score looks like, I'm going to take Texas A&M so we can be on opposite sides of things because it makes for fun banter. All right, let's get into the actual ranked teams because unfortunately for us, we are not. Ohio State. This is going to actually be the worst part. None of these games are fun. Number 2, Ohio State at Northwestern. Ohio State away is favored by 38. 38
I'm taking Northwestern.
All right.
Give me the points.
Yeah. 35 points, man. Come on. That's just
38.
That's
it's 38. Don't screw my 3. I have 38. Put down 38.
All right, 38.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Northwestern as well. 38's stupid. Number 17, North Carolina at Virginia. North Carolina favored by 7.5.
Yeah. Give me the Tar Heels.
Yep, taking the same. Dude, Virginia, you went 4 overtimes and scored 12 points. Yeah, I'm down. North Carolina it is.
Just roll.
This will be a fun game. Yep. Number 5, Clemson at Notre Dame. Clemson is favored by 4.5.
That's wild. Oh, Clemson's favored. Excuse me. Clemson's favored.
Yeah, Clemson's favored.
At Clemson?
No, Notre Dame.
Give me Notre Dame.
Ooh, I'm going to take Clemson. Clemson does not look good. I actually think this will be a make or break game for Clemson. We'll see real fast whether or not they should be number 4. This will be a fun game. I think it ends up being a little bit ugly, but let's get into the SEC. Number 6, Alabama at LSU, who between you and I, we talked off the cast. LSU Stadium is effing gorgeous. That is an amazing.
What time's the game?
Alabama
7 o'clock?
favored by 13. I didn't get the time.
Favored by 13? Give me the Tigers.
Oh, you want the Tigers?
Yeah.
LSU?
Give me the Tigs. Yeah.
I'll take Bama. That'll be a great game to watch though.
Give me the boys in Perth.
I think it's a 3:30 game. I think that's the SEC or the CBS game. Oh no, this would be the CBS game.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. Let's get down to it. I mean, this is basically a pre-playoff game. Number 2, Tennessee at number 1, Georgia. Georgia at home, favored by 8.5. Woo-hoo-hoo. Where's Uncle Lou right now? Come on, Lou.
I'm looking for something to put on.
Yeah. Gosh, I'll jump on this one. I think Georgia wins, but I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be a 7-point game. I'll take Georgia to win, but Tennessee to cover the 8.5. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
Give me the dogs.
Fair enough.
Roll them bitches. Roll them. I'll roll them.
Oh God, that's a tough game. I can't. That'll be. That's like, honey, don't ask me to do anything. Don't talk to me.
Chat saying Tennessee.
Tech. Oh, I bet. Texas Tech at number 7, TCU. TCU is favored by 9.5. Texas Tech at TCU.
Give me TCU.
TCU with the
9. They cover
9.5. All right. I'll take Texas Tech. I mean, they're not the Cliff Kingsbury version of Texas Tech, but I like it. Michigan State missing a bunch of players at number 14. Somehow Illinois is 14th in the country and nobody's talked about it. Michigan State at number 14, Illinois. Illinois is favored by 16.5. Michigan State at Illinois.
Over here rolling people, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I say Michigan State. I say they cover.
You're taking the
yeah, I might be screwed here, but
tunnel beaters. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Indian name, the Illinois. All right. Let's keep it in the Big Ten. We got number 16, Penn State at another Indian name, Indiana. Penn State at Indiana. Penn State is favored by 14 on the road. What you got?
Give me Penn.
Yeah, I'm taking Penn too. As much as I hate to ever pick Penn State to win anything other than a civil lawsuit, like, this one's going to be a little off. Number 23, Liberty. Yes, that Liberty, the one that's being coached by Hugh Freeze right now. At Arkansas. Arkansas, unranked, over a ranked Liberty team, is favored at home by 13.5. Liberty at Arkansas. Ranked Liberty.
I'll take Liberty.
You taking the Libs, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, the exact opposite of the Libs from Liberty. I'll take Arkansas. All right. We got a little. This dynamic. This dynamic. I like this. All right, my man.
This is brutal.
Yeah, this is an ugly like top 25 matchup. There's a couple of fun ones with Tennessee, Georgia.
Let's do Wake Forest and NC State.
Who's where? I don't have that one.
You're awful at this, Steve. Wake Forest is at NC State. Wake Forest is favored by 4.
All right, so +4. Oh gosh, I'll take NC State to cover the 4.
I'm taking Wake.
Take it. Hartman has had a terrible game against was it Syracuse?
Taking Wake all day, baby. And then the last one I think we need to do is Texas and Kansas State University.
At K-State?
Yeah, and Texas is favored by 2.5. I got to take Kansas State here. The Longhorns have burned my bridge here.
Yeah, you were all about them there for a hot minute, and they've just let you down a couple of times.
Yep. They broke my heart, boys.
K-State just ran on Oklahoma State. And Texas is favored by 2.5?
Yeah.
No. I'll take K-State as well. Okay. I just after whipping the hell out of Oklahoma State, I don't. Why would I take Texas favored? No, thank you.
All right, boys. Well, Steve, you only got 3 to catch up, and this week's gonna be a doozy.
Ooh.
I don't think we agreed, but like on about 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we took the opposite on for the most part. Yeah. Oh yeah. This will be a make or break for us.
Yeah, this could be a big swing here for the boys. Hey, ladies and gents, thank you guys as always. Hopefully the next time I see you, I'll be a dad. But at this point in time, it's just me and Steve. So appreciate you guys.
Waiting game, baby.
Appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Travis, Demetrius, Papa Stokes, Rob S, Andrew Apple, Ian McLovin, great name, Zach, Aaron Joyner, what's up, big dog? Rob S, Kanipo Karate, boys and girls, Brandon Curry, David Williams. Thank you guys as always for hanging out with us, Rob S. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Make sure you guys like the video. Let's get to 200 likes if we can. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Unless anything happens, Saturday for the live stream, Sunday for the stream after. You guys have a good afternoon. Until next time, I'm Shelton.
And I'm Holly.
Boogity, boys. See ya.
Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that